This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night.
Hey folks, welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I imagine for Rich this is a somber edition of One Nation Radio because we will now soon have to talk about the NBA champion Boston Celtics. But first things first, Rich, how you doing, man?
Been better, man. Been better. We had big news in the world of basketball, and no, I'm not talking about the Boston Celtics winning the 18th championship. We had the death of arguably the patriarch of the NBA at this point. Man, that's on the logo. Jerry West, a guy that has kind of shaped how many of us watch basketball and the greatness behind it for the last 50 years. Yeah. This was, always on the way. He was 86 years old, lived a full life, went through a lot in his life, a lot of losing to said Celtics, which caused, him to have a lot of depression. But he figured out how to make up for it, kind of like with his ability to be a mentor, to scout talent, to put teams together that have defined the NBA, and a lot of it, has come from Jerry West. And I don't know if people know how good Jerry West was as a basketball player, but
not
man,
at this point, no.
There's plenty of stuff to talk about with his, his relationships to every star player that has come after him. But a little bit about his career. He, obviously was a star in the 1950s for West Virginia. Shout out my man Howard Schilling. That's his alma mater as well. And I believe he got them to either won a national championship or he got them to the title game. And he was like a superstar there, essentially.
I think got him 2 Final Fours.
Yeah, and he essentially, he went to the 1960 Olympics with Oscar Robertson. Him and Oscar Robertson are the best guards of the 60s. And Jerry West was an otherworldly player, somebody who a lot of people looked at Jerry West and throughout the 60s, and you see like the color of the league is changing from the 1950s as far as there's a lot more black players being drafted, built around becoming stars, and Jerry West was so cold. Everybody accepted Jerry West just as he was, and it was like, hey man, you can talk about a lot of people, you can't talk about Jerry West because Jerry West is a bad motherfucker on offense, defense, athletically, one of the great defenders to ever live,
one of the great
from all
shooters
accounts,
too.
One of the great, as you mentioned, shooters, clutch players, and spent his career going up against, a dynasty that had Hall of Famers coming off the bench. So naturally, I think that would drive anybody into, some kind of, bad feelings and spirits about themselves, considering their own abilities, through no fault of his own. Jerry West used to go crazy. There's a famous Charles Barkley phrase There were sometimes it's showing what LeBron was doing in the playoffs, or how it compared historically. And all of a sudden, you see like these graphics, and it's just like Jerry West, averaging 40 points in playoff series, and it's like, God damn, Jerry West. So like, this guy was, someone that the greatness of the Los Angeles Lakers is largely built on him as a player, as a coach, as an executive, as a consultant.
I would make the argument that except for this most recent championship, he is solely responsible for. He's the only person that's involved in all of it. Like, cause he was around before Jerry Buss bought the Lakers from the Cooks.
Yep.
So it's Jerry West and Elgin, right? And then Wilt, and then he's coaching, and then he's the GM, and then has Kareem, and he has Magic. Then he has the 90s post Magic. Then he convinces Shaq to come to LA. He drafts Kobe, and basically realized it before everybody else, like, yo, he's going to be really fucking good. Let's get him to shut all this shit down, and then we'll trade for him. And that happens. And then, the whole Kobe era, like, all of that that's a 40-year span of time.
And then, like, he's behind the Warriors.
Yeah, and then like the time where he's not that, like, he then is a consultant for the Warriors, and like basically tells them, like, if you trade Klay Thompson for Kevin Love, I will quit this position. And that convinces them to not make the trade, and that leads to 4 rings.
Man, Seth Rogen set up the mid 2000s Grizzlies teams. Yeah, that's another thing he did.
Yes, if they had got the first pick, they would have had LeBron. And he's a person that pulls Hubie Brown out of mothballs as a coach.
Yeah. I saw the news of him dying. I just got sad, and we received word that Willie Mays had passed away right before One Nation Radio went live. So I didn't have as much time to prepare for Willie Mays. But this is also in the death of Bill Walton happened as well. Somebody else who we didn't get a chance to discuss. But these are like sports heroes, which are in turn like American heroes that have influence how we take in these games that we love. And Jerry West is Mr. Laker, logo of the league, went in the Hall of Fame in the mid 70s, obviously, appeared in 9 NBA finals, I believe. And it's just like
the only person that ever has and probably ever will win finals MVP on a losing team. And I watched the second half of that 69 finals on YouTube one time. And there's Bill Russell in his last NBA game riding off in the sunset with his 11th title. There's Wilt Chamberlain on that floor. There's Elgin Baylor on that floor. There's John Havlicek on that floor. And you're watching that second half, you're like, Jerry West is so clearly the best basketball player on the floor. With, the people I just named are all top 20 all-time basketball players as far as best careers ever. And he's fucking killing. Like they lost that game by I think 3 points. He had a 40-point triple-double. That's what we're talking about. Like when you look up some historic accomplishment in an NBA game, in the NBA playoffs, the names you always see ring off. You always see LeBron. You always see Jordan. You always see Shaq, especially Shaq in the finals. You see Kareem, and you see Wilt. Those are names you always see when this hasn't been done since so and so. It always goes back to those guys as far as like prolific all time like playoff performances. And like. He was somebody that, while I did not watch, he was somebody I was fond of through the history of the sport, and I'm glad that I like followed and knew some of the crazy stories he had, because like he was somebody that he would do media, and he would say what he felt is very similar to Riley, which is it's kind of funny because they both played together. And he would be like, he would give you a level because he's old school. He came from the era where like you could say what you wanted without it becoming a fucking maelstrom of drama. that like he would just give you candidness that, you know, on or off the record that you just would not expect, to give you a level of honesty. And like, I've never read his autobiography, but like it's on the way. And like, I didn't want to read. I stayed away from reading for so long because like I always heard people talk about like it's almost jarring how low his perception of himself was and how he considered himself such a failure, even though he's one of the 10 to 15 greatest basketball players of all time, because of the finals losses. Even though you look at the game logs, you're like, well, you didn't lose because of you. You didn't lose because, and Elgin didn't lose because of Elgin either. It was because you were outgunned. And like, and so I never wanted to read because I didn't want to such depressing read. But like when he would do interviews, I would always, you know, listen, and he's one of those guys that's from the era like you would hear, you know, not Russell. Russell would be, you know, he'd always be, what's the word? He'd be diplomatic towards like the future generations past him, right? Even encouraging, mostly encouraging. I wouldn't even say just diplomatic, but you would hear guys like Oscar and Wilt, and they talk about like the guys that are, you know, guys from the 90s couldn't hang with guys from the 60s. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I can see Bob Cousy on this film not be able to dribble with his left hand at all, right? You realize that you guys are set shooting, right? You realize you guys are playing below the rim all except for like 3 guys. Except it's Elgin, it's Wilt, it's Russell, everybody's playing below the rim, right? So anyway, but the thing about, and I think this is the reason why he became such an all-time great executive was like, he saw the game where it was going, where it was, in like what it could possibly be, and he also just wasn't a hater. Like he never wasn't so concerned about what someone couldn't do or what they couldn't do compared to the time that it was his time. It was like, nah, this is what the game is now, and like let's see. And he can see these things. In like one of my favorite things in, you know, it's probably the early 2010s was like Bill Simmons had him on, I think he's still at ESPN at the time, and he was talking about LeBron. He was saying like, look, man, all the shit and all the stupid stuff and these stupid fucking talk shows and the debates about his greatness, like, no, he's one of the greatest basketball players of all time right now, and he's probably he has the possibility to end up as the greatest. And for me, hearing that as somebody that drafted Kobe, was at times a father figure in Kobe's life, for him to say that, I was like, thank you that I don't have to hear this from fucking idiots that don't know what they're talking about, in the sense of making it belittling the accomplishments of somebody because they're still going, as opposed to waiting till they're done and then give them their flowers. And I felt like that was a lot of the stuff, you know, that pissed me off at the time, you know, watching Shaq's career or watching Kobe's career or watching LeBron's career. Is like, no, man, look at their age, look what they've accomplished, look what the rest of, you know, barring some type of injury or some type of incident, look where they're headed. Can we just say like, hey, we think they're on pace to be an all-time great, or do we need to just say, oh, they're not Michael Jordan, you know, because I didn't have the fucking Wings poster of Shaq or something. Like, so it used to bother me all the time. Be like, do you not see where this is going? And, you know, we talk about this all the time with like the Cleveland thing, right? It was like, maybe in the 90s, players come to Cleveland to play with LeBron when he's in his 20s because they've recognized what's happening, right? But like players overwhelmingly didn't ever want to come to Cleveland. It's like, do y'all not know where this is headed? How am I seeing this as a teenager and y'all are in the league and don't recognize it? Oh, the 30-point triple doubles never didn't. No. I understand Cleveland stinks, but it's a bunch of other small market areas you don't want to play in either. So like, there's a max slot. Take the max slot and be on a winning team. So it used to bother me so much. And then like, so I just appreciate it. I mean, like, you know, I told you, and I've told all of y'all, like, over the years, like, when it came to post Kobe's death, like, anything involving Kobe, I haven't watched it. I can't watch it. I can't bring myself to watch it. The most I've gotten is seeing the unveiling of his statue outside of Staples. That's going to be outside of Staples. And seeing Jerry West talk, like, basically in tears, talking about, like, what Kobe meant to him. And that broke me. And that's one of the reasons why I can't take myself to watch some of that stuff. So, yeah, I always had a great appreciation for him, and he's going to be greatly missed by this league because he's one of the most instrumental people ever. And, like,
all-time competitor.
Yeah.
Had a great quote. People talk about their dogs and stuff like that. He said, "Well, I was a wolf. I ate dogs," and it was just like no one could describe Jerry West better than himself in that moment. And just think about it being like, as the league is becoming blacker in the 60s and 70s, this white man is anointed as the logo, right?
Yeah.
And it's fine. Yeah. I think that says a lot. Like, yeah. And just think of all
these decades. You've never heard a single word about nothing crazy coming out of Jerry West's mouth.
Right. And I think it was, to look at Jerry West's game logs and stuff, they're just eye-popping numbers in playoff games, and just an all-time player and executive. And he's going to be missed, like not seeing him just hanging around, like, seeing like a new interview pop up, or, he was working for the Clippers right now, before he died, and just not seeing, like, not hearing any more stories about some player that he just flat out rejected. Be like, hey man, get them out of here. They don't get it. They'll never fucking get it. Just different stuff like that. So always was a big fan of Jerry West. And I remember when he left the Lakers too, I was confused with a lot of that stuff. But some of the stuff like that was happening was, a lot of he was not a fan of, mixing with the Phil Jackson stuff with the Buss family, and just felt very underappreciated by the Lakers, for everything that he did. And I think it's sad that the Lakers never really kind of fixed that relationship, with Jerry West, because, like, if Jerry West never walks through those fucking doors, this entire league is different. Fuck the Lakers, like, as a as a team
lucky enough to draft them.
Like, as a team, they're moving to Los Angeles.
Right.
This man literally establishes the West Coast as a region for the NBA.
Yeah.
As the signature player, him and Elgin Baylor.
Yep.
And I think I think the Lakers need to go above and beyond in his death to, and they put out like a press release, and they need to reconsider everything they're doing to honor Jerry West. I know he has a statue. Give him another one. Like, I know he has his jersey retired. Like, I know he's, whatever. Like, figure something out. Do a Jerry West night. Do something. Like collaborate with the league on it. Like, figure out how you're going to honor Jerry. Produce some, like, documentaries with, like, current players talking about him, and be like, yo, the Los Angeles Lakers stamped this, and put it out.
I imagine he gets the black bar on the jersey this coming season, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, he gets he gets a 44 on there.
Yeah, either one. Yeah.
Hell, the league should put 44 on there. Like,
wouldn't bother me. Look, you make it real easy. On the logo on the floor, put the 44 in the corner, inside the silhouette. Yeah. But
yeah, I don't have any more on Jerry West, but rest in peace to the great Jerry West.
Yeah. And I guess now for Rich is more depressing news to talk about. The Boston Celtics have won the NBA Finals, their first title since 2008. Won it in 5 games. Jaylen Brown, the Finals MVP. This game was one of those games where it's like, all right, let's see how this goes. And there's a struggle in the first quarter for both teams. But by the time you get to the second quarter, it's like they got a 7-0 run, and it felt like they were one run away from putting it away and it becoming a coronation. And they eventually got it in the I think probably towards the end of the second quarter. And for that point in time, it felt just like it was on autopilot for both teams, and they're just waiting for the time to run out. Rich, what are your thoughts on this? On the season, the champion, the MVPs, the top players, the players that will be, I guess, remembered for this, and their legacy, or the thoughts of the players over time. And right now, is there anything that's changed for you as far as, like, some of these players winning this title?
I think it is good for Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, obviously.
Yeah.
To, kind of get over the hump, so they're not essentially like the Raptors of this decade. Like a DeMar DeRozan, but pre 2019.
Yeah, I knew
before they finally got over.
Yeah.
So
they got over the hump because Klay Thompson tears an ACL and fucking Kevin Durant ruptures an Achilles.
Yeah, LeBron leaves the East, all that.
Unbelievable. That lucky ass. That's one of the most are you fucking kidding me? Anyway, go ahead, continue.
So with the Celtics, this is just such a weird team for me to try to analyze in a historical sense, because all the numbers are there that tell you, this team is above some of the greatest teams that, have ever lived. But when I watch them, I do not see that. I do not get this feeling this is this unbreakable, unbeatable team. This is one of the weirdest NBA finals that I've ever watched, as far as it not feeling like the NBA finals. It just felt like these were just the last two teams that were there. And I think several teams that would have came out of the West would have smacked the Celtics. I think the Wolves would have smacked them. I think the Nuggets would have smacked them. And I was just like, how on earth did that Mavericks team that came from the Western Conference Finals show up to the finals? Like these are not the same teams. I don't know what happened.
I can tell you what happened. The same thing happens in Rudy Gobert when he gets eliminated from the playoffs. He gets put in switches, and he has to guard on the island, and he can't stay in front of Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, and they went nuts. The same way that James Harden and Chris Paul in different eras of their careers would do the same thing to send the Utah Jazz home. It just the matchup was he didn't have to worry about that against the Nuggets because you had a Jamal Murray injury, and they don't really do the hunting thing, right? Or pick an isolation or pick someone in isolation and go work on them. So with a hampered Jamal Murray, they weren't able to take advantage of that in that way. And then they got to game 7, and then they just Michael Porter Jr. and Contavious Caldwell-Pope, they just couldn't make a single they couldn't make a single shot, which doomed them. But if they if they had played the Nuggets would have beat them. The Nuggets would have beat the Mavericks, and we wouldn't have to worry about this. And I think I personally think that the Nuggets would have beaten the Celtics, but I thought the only team that could have beat them, that could have beat the Celtics this year, would have been either the Bucks, which they went down with a bunch of injuries, or the Nuggets, and they didn't have to face either one of them. So they won the title. And sometimes that happens in years like this.
Yeah.
And
I was going to say,
what I'm interested to see is next year, if they have to face one of them, I'm interested on that.
There's been plenty of kind of goofy teams that have won a title where it's I don't see any of these guys as the best player in the league. I don't see they just happen to catch a few good matchups or catch teams in the wrong year, age wise. These guys are all coming into their primes, as far as 26, 27 years old. It almost just felt like they had not the perfect recipe needed that we wanted, but the recipe that they needed to win, where they just were all right, we've got a great top 6 guys.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to have a couple people that, can plug holes on defense, and everyone's going to be able to shoot threes. And Kyrie Irving is going to completely just become a shell of himself anytime he steps into the TD Garden. He completely is the Monster stole his powers. Just absolutely ridiculous. Did he not sage the court this time, James? What happened to this guy? This guy was supposed to come into the NBA Finals. James, all I heard was the redemption of Kyrie Irving. This guy that put his own, reputation on the line, that dug himself in his own 50-foot hole, with his comments, actions, conduct, between everything with the vaccine and the anti-Semitism and all that stuff. Him being an asshole himself. And then it's time for him to step in this place where he can tell everyone to fucking shove it. And I think everyone will be fine with him, for doing that. Because often, when you step in Boston, I believe, as Kyrie Irving once said, it's full of racism and belligerence. He gave none of it back. How?
I think he's old now. And it's so imperceptible because,
he killed the best defense in the league last series. series.
But he killed the best defense in the league last series when he's facing easy switches. Like, think about it. Mike Conley's supposed to guard him. Mike Conley's older than him.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and then you get switches onto bigs that can't stay in front of him. Like, it just wasn't a good matchup for him. It just was not. So for me, because it's like, all right, so they can throw Drew Holiday. Is there a single defender on the perimeter defender on the Timberwolves that guards like Drew Holiday historically? No. Then they also have Derek White there. No. And then it's like, okay, well, if those two don't work, then they can also throw Jason Tatum on them. You know, like they just had it was a bad matchup for him. And for as far as being able to throw three guys that are going to be on the floor most of the night against him, and then it's like the rest of the guys on the Warriors besides him and Luka did nothing.
Yeah,
like it was like this was the two best
such a talent gap.
The two best players on the floor at any given time can absolutely be Luka and Kyrie, but the next fucking six might all be Celtics. This one of those, look, and it's not like Kyrie has been in unfamiliar territory in the finals in those kind of situations, right? Where it's like, yeah, bro, it's me and Luka, or it's me and LeBron. It's me and a small forward that always has the ball, right? And we already two best players on the floor. But the guys we playing against, the next five best players might all be on the other team. And it's an impossible task. We won one time. I got my ass kicked every other time. Or my fucking kneecap is broken. He hasn't been favored in a singles finals. He hasn't been in a single finals where he came in as a betting favorite. It's just an unlucky road for him. He got the one. He'll always have that shot. And, he'll always have that run. And all the runs with LeBron or whatever else. He played great in those finals, all of them. This was the first one where he had to like, yeah, man, he didn't play good in the finals, right? And I think a lot of people, have not, or just thought it was like, almost like the Jamal Murray thing, as the spotlight gets brighter, he gets better. But it's like, nah, man, we've seen him in the playoffs shrink at times, which is kind of weird because we saw him be great, almost automatic in the first stint, and then post LeBron, he had that bad series against the Bucks 2019. He got when that sweep in 2021? 21 against the Celtics. He didn't play well in that series except for one game. Like, it's been this thing where like you look up and it's like he's been playing, he's been not playing, he's been up and down, he's been on multiple teams, and now you look up, it's like, wow, he's 32 now. And he's not big. He's not small, but he's not big either. And he's facing this team that has a murderer's line. They have a bullpen of arms in the bullpen to guard him. So no one gets exactly tired or zapped on offense trying to chase him around. So yeah, I think this was a bad matchup for him, and just happened that it happens to also be Boston, and that crowd's on his ass. And I don't know how much that affected him or didn't affect him, but he did acknowledge it. And look, man, it's unfortunate for him, but this is the bed you lay in when you do this. He asked to be traded to one of the teams he wanted to be on was Boston. He ended up in Boston. He had a falling out with Jaylen Brown, a very young Jaylen Brown at the time.
I could just imagine. Look at the back of James's background and imagine that falling out.
Yeah. Yeah. It split the locker room. It was Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and on the other side it was whichever Morris twin it was in Kyrie. The locker room was so bad that like Kyrie leaves, Horford also leaves. He thought that everybody was immature about it. He goes, to OKC in Philadelphia and ends up back in Boston on the back end of it. And then Kyrie ends up in Brooklyn. And that one series when they beat the hell out of the Celtics, it was like, all right, well, whatever. Kyrie gets hurt. Harden's on one leg with the bad hamstring. They end up being one 6'16" shoe away from being in the finals. That could have been their finals, and what they didn't. And then Kyrie and the COVID mandates, the anti-Semitic propaganda he posted as a link, and then he ends up let's flash forward 2 years, and he ends up here, and he has another chance. It's like, hey man, like this is a really strange career. Like, he is a what if candidate. Like the Bill Simmons Book of Basketball, what ifs. His whole career post 2017 is all that. Like, cause he's he looks like he's paced to be a top 50 NBA player. I don't think he is, and I think there are people that think I'm insane by saying he's not.
Like, this guy's one of the most singular, special talents to ever come in the NBA.
Right. He's
and
one of the most talented offensive players you've ever seen. And people argue he is the most offensive talent. And I'd be like, yeah, I understand what you're saying. He might have the biggest bag of tricks ever in NBA history. However, basketball, this sport is not actually about how many moves you got. It's how many times you put the ball in the fucking hoop and how many times you stop the other team from putting the ball in the hoop. That's why the 7-footer guys are always the best players in the league, overwhelmingly. Or the big wings. It's rarely ever the 6'4" and below guys. So that bag's great until I see him get his ass kicked and we'll be like, what the hell's wrong with him? Where's all the bag? Like, hey man, sometimes you reach in a bag and it's just a bag of tricks.
I'm gonna be a flat out hater. I hated watching the Celtics win another championship. The only positive hope I can hope is that they stop talking about the 2008 Celtics. I like to congratulate the Boston Celtics for winning their second world championship since I've been alive. I thought you were going to say since the I think you're gonna say since the Bush administration. That'd be funnier. Yeah. You know, we can take it back even further. You know, winning their fifth championship since the merger. Yeah, man. I don't like to see the Celtics prosper. Like, this is like, hell no, man. Like, this is disgusting. Like, it feels icky. I cut the game off towards the end of the fourth quarter. I didn't watch the celebrations. None of them. Jason Tatum did them. Everybody telling me he did a bunch of corny shit. Good. Yeah. Like, good. More reason to dislike him. He went to Duke. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't.
It's like this is a thing that, like, it dawned on me as I when he told me how, like, you like, man, you hated all this, and I just like, hey man, like, I don't know if you recognize this, not Rich, because you are a Duke fan, you are a Red Sox fan. Like, when some of your teams win, this is how most of us feel. Like, when the Red Sox or Duke basketball wins, this is how most of us feel. Like, when the Celtics win, this is how I feel. Like, you look on Twitter, you see like man, this shit lame. Why the fuck is this shit happening? So when your Red Sox win, and I'm not immune. Like, I'm a Yankees fan. People feel the same way. I understand that, but like, hey man, this is my team. But I'm aware of it. But I just want you to know, like, whenever Duke wins another national championship of basketball, I want you to look in the mirror and feel this feeling that you feel right now. This is how most of us feel when Duke. It's just like, bro, this shit dry. Man, this shit lame. This shit. Look at their fan base. Look at their fan base. Why is Rich with them? It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. You over here rooting for the same shit they finished our rooting for. Did that make you feel good? oh man, here it is.
I was seeing traditional Celtic after traditional Celtic check in, and I was just like, hold on, man. Like that. What's the name? Luke Cornett, Peyton Pritchard with that shot. Yeah. I was like,
Sam Hauser.
That shot, Sam Hauser. I was like, man, where's Frank Kaminsky? Hey. Where's Sam Decker? We might as well just fill the bench out.
But here's the thing, though.
Get the traditional Celtics in there going.
But the thing about Sam Hauser, he's a traditional Celtic in the same way that John Havlicek was a traditional Celtic. You think that you can score over him just because he's white? No, over and over, you keep playing inefficiently, thinking that you found yourself a little matchup. Meanwhile, that white man is holding up defensively. I'm not saying that he's Caruso, but what I am saying is you are losing the game because you think you found your mark. That ain't no mark. That is an average NBA defensive player. He just happens to be white.
The Julian Maskell principle just failing. In real time.
Because remember, I said to you early in the series, like, bro, watch them Luka and Kyrie keep trying to pick on him. It ain't gonna work. And overwhelmingly, it just wouldn't work. They couldn't get past him. They kept having to shoot over him. The shots wouldn't be going in. I was like, bro, Sam Howell's out here, preserving the race.
Look, them boys are not playing the short game. They're playing the long game. Right. They are trying to get these Tommy Heinsohn chairs, this color commentary 10, 15 years down the line.
Bruh.
They will be remembered forever in that town.
Yes. And look, man, And the worst thing about it is like this series would have been even more uncompetitive if Porzingis never got hurt. If Porzingis had done what he had done in the first 3 games and played these maybe they still lose that game 4 by a lot. But like if he would have been healthy, whatever else he was doing, look, man, I had said to you during the preview of the season going into this year, like, hey man, Porzingis, he have the right year, they'd be wearing them Team Latvia jerseys.
Yeah.
And look, that 20-point first half in game 1, I expect to see some of the Latvia jerseys in Boston in springtime.
They're going like 20 years from now. Like
St. Patrick,
there's gonna be motherfuckers. It's gonna be motherfuckers in the South End talking about, man, you seen the one time when Porzingis, when he scored 20 on that fuck Kyrie. Like it's gonna be stuff of legend. Like
yeah. And
Luka Doncic. We should probably talk about him as well.
It's strange. He was the best player in this series, but because of how bad he was defensively in game 3, like, it was like, like, I understand, people might do the whole, could he win finals MVP because he's overwhelmingly still the best basketball player? No, he kicked the game. He kicked the game. He cost his team a game by fucking up possessions, like playing on the ground, flopping for a call, for trying to flop to get 3-point foul shots, not getting back on defense, arguing with the refs, taking that stupid ass charge to get him 25 feet away from the rim, or 28 feet away from the rim. Jaylen Brown, stupid little frustration fouls that added up to him fouling out. It was an awful game from him.
James, much in the way they coined the term tragic magic, that was Fluka Luka in that game right there.
Yeah. It was really upsetting because, as somebody, I thought, I think when you picked this, do you really think that the Mavs are actually going to win? You just thought, like, if they keep it close, they got the 2 guys that can.
I thought they would have the 2 best guys at the end of these games, and them niggas would get lemon booty, and that was they wouldn't know who to get a ball to.
Right. And that was the only way I thought they could win the series and keep it close. But I just thought that I think that overwhelmingly, like, they just don't have enough to keep up with the depth of the Celtics. It ultimately proved right. I thought that if he doesn't have such a game as destructive as game 4, we still look at him and don't look at him crazy. And I think game 4 is going to make for a lot of people, because, it's Dallas, it's Luka. He doesn't have an exciting game, especially post 2020. Like he basically plays like Paul Pierce. If Paul Pierce was given the keys to the offense and the green light that James Harden had, like post 2000, from 2019 on, where he just irresponsible stuff. It was like, that's not a fun watch. It's not a fun watch, and it's very slow. And like, I saw a clip.
We had Windhorse. We had Windhorse basically just grill him and light him ablaze, and he deserved it.
He deserved it. And after that, game 4, he showed up to play, and I think he composed himself the way that he needs to compose himself going forward in the future, to not let these things, boil up or snowball on him in that way where he gets frustrated. I thought that he actually corrected himself pretty well and acquitted himself, being like, I've cost my team a finals game. I've learned the lesson. We're gonna lose a series, but I've learned this lesson to go forward. And I hope this is a maturing process for him, because, he's made 5 first-team All-NBAs in a row. Like, this dude is going to be a top 30 NBA player all time by the time it's all said and done. And I'm short selling it grossly. There ain't too many NBA players that ever made 5 straight first-team All-NBAs. Right,
yeah,
he's already made 3. He's already been top 5 in MVP voting 3 times already. He's 25, and I don't mean he's turning 26 soon. He turned 25 in like March. So
yeah, I think he needs to take his fitness a lot more serious than he has so far. Just so we don't look up and it's like, yo, he's 29, but like this is clearly it's not going to continue going forward. Like he needs to, really dedicate himself to that. And because that's like what's going to, like him just being a whole on defense and, the physical fitness is going to separate him from someone that can get to a finals, that can win you a couple playoff series, to be like, yo, his team can seal the deal. You don't have to like rely on so many people around him being so much better athletes than him, and just finding those guys plug and play year after year. Like if you look at PJ Washington, Lively, Gafford, like these are guys from the scrap heap from like other teams that were plugged in that happen to just be guys with good wingspans, guys that could defend, guys that could cover those mistakes. But eventually that talent gap's just gonna be too large, and that's what happened with the Celtics, like just coming to get them. They ran them down, and this Celtics team, I don't think this is any kind of special team or anything. This just happened to be a team that won a title with a lot of great looking numbers behind it. Like, and it's gonna be people that they were like, oh, we're just gonna abide by the numbers. This team, it says this team was great. They are great. This whatever, and then I'm gonna be like, but I was there. Like, I feel like I just started naming the champions of the past, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. Like, I felt like they would have, all of them would have whooped these Celtics.
Well, except for the 19 Raptors, I think they would whoop the Raptors' ass. So I'm with you. What I will say is this. I think they were a team that was perfectly built for the regular season. And they played like that, but I had my concerns about the postseason because I've never seen them come through in clutch moments or crunch time moments when you got to have it. I've seen them overwhelmingly spit up on their shirt. So the thing that was interesting for me was like, I wanted to see a certain thing happen for these guys in the maturation process, see if they can get to a certain thing. I didn't necessarily see that, but they won anyway. So what I will say is, they won. Congratulations to them. Next year, I'm really interested in them and to see how this goes if they run into the Nuggets or the Bucks or any other team that I think might raise up, or maybe OKC takes a step forward, right? And they'll have the veteran years of experience in front of them and everything, and we'll see. But like, I want to see how they defend this title next year. And I don't expect them to go out there and try to win 64 games because they just had this long run to get to that point. But I want to see, like, can they reach that? Okay, we've had this huge monkey on our back for years now, for half a decade of this unfulfilled future from the KG and Pierce trades with Brooklyn to get Tatum and Brown in draft picks. We've made a new future for ourselves. We finally paid off that future. We can all breathe a sigh of relief. There's a lot of less pressure on us. I want to see, with them unburdened, Brown and especially Tatum, how they can perform with some of this monkey off their back. I'm interested to see, because maybe this changes stuff for them, right?
How happy is Brad Stevens at all this shit? Like, of finally, getting the title or whatever that he couldn't win as a coach, and
and the players stopped listening to him, and he got a better job. He gets now to make all the acquisitions, and he don't have to get fired because the players don't listen to him anymore. They go not listen to them. Go not listen to Ime Udoka or Joe Mazzulla when we all sick of them.
Yeah.
And I get to stay here.
Joe Mazzulla, championship coach.
Yeah. So
weirdo.
So the thing for me is, I think this was a team victory. And I was saying this to you, like, bro, we thought about how many times they cracked their head against the ceiling, the Celtics, and the maturation, and last in 2020 finals, how bad Tatum played when he's seeing multiple eyes on him every time he touched the ball, and he was slow to make decisions. And I think he struggled making shots, but I thought his decision making was much better compared to what I heard about what he was doing and what I saw in like clips of the mistakes he was making in the finals 2022. How much? I don't think people are kind of like poo-pooing this, kind of like me and you, as far, or being less like, oh my God, this is.
Oh, I'm gonna say something nice about it. I got something.
Here's my thing. I think the thing that a lot of people that didn't think this was ever going to happen or wasn't happening, like, greatly underestimated the change of, okay, Marcus Smart, Robert Williams, out. Also, Grant Williams, out. In comes Porzingis and Drew Holiday. I think we because of the Horford, White had been around, Tatum and Brown had been around together so long that it's like, okay, they just not going to do it. It's like, but they just massively upgraded in two gigantic positions that should be going to, we think, they lost based on the margins in the 2022 finals. It's like, well, yeah, they added fucking Porzingis and they added Drew Holiday. This should be good enough to make them a championship team. Why did we dump them? Are we gonna look back next year and they're on the trophy and be like, we're fucking idiots? They got rid of Marcus Smart? Of course they're better.
The defensive player of the year, cooked by Steph Curry.
Yeah.
But I'll say this though, for the Celtics to go through and win it with a lot of these guys are largely known as their guys, built it up through the draft, with the stars. I would have killed for this as a Laker fan, just in the rebuild of 2017 going forward.
Rich, I get what you're saying, but that would never happen for you because we are post the decision, and nobody is ever letting Drew Holiday reach free agency so that he could sign with the Lakers, and we're because of I'm saying no teams in good faith are going to work in good faith with the Lakers in this stage of the game the way it's going. You know what I mean? Think Chris Paul trade. They're not going to just give you Kristaps Porzingis for fucking nothing. They're not going to let you be able to get Drew Holiday to add to two All-NBA guys and then you go win your title. The days of Pau Gasol getting traded for his fat younger brother are out of here for the Lakers. There's a disdain, there's a big market disdain for the Lakers that doesn't exist for a team like Boston. It only really exists for the destination teams with no state income tax. So yeah, I don't think the days of Jerry West and Jerry Buss, shrewd negotiation things, I think those are things where that doesn't happen anymore. I understand players still want to play for the Lakers, but the GMs and everybody in the ownership were like, nah, fuck this one team, we want them to never win. They treat them the way that MLB wish they could treat, the rest of the 29 other teams could treat the Yankees, but it just hasn't been able to work out that way. It's been really interesting to see, the Kawhi Leonard thing, right? Nah, we're going to trade one of the 25 best basketball players last 25 years. We're going to trade him to a place he doesn't want against his will. He's the only person in this era that wasn't able to get his wish to be a Laker or want to be traded where he wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. Think of what Kevin Durant just did. Well, all the years of his contract from Brooklyn gets traded to Phoenix. Okay. But if he had said the Lakers, I best believe they would not have traded his ass. Absolutely the fuck not. We finna trade you to
Siberia,
the Metropolitan 29 or 92, where Wembanyama was just at. We finna trade his ass over to France. So yeah, I think the Lakers. I know the homegrown thing, which I was whatever. The homegrown thing, I just don't think that's a realistic reality for the Lakers at this stage anymore because the proof's in the pudding that now we have over a decade worth of just hating on the Lakers from the rest of the league. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Y'all just gonna have to draft well. Y'all gonna have to be bad and draft
would be nice.
Well. And hey, when we got a chance to take Jason Tatum, don't take Lonzo Ball. When we got the chance to take Jaylen Brown, don't take Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, it's just you look back on that and it's fuck.
Yeah. It could be worse.
Yeah.
You could have drafted Markelle Fultz.
Yeah, that's true. I think I'd rather have Lonzo.
You could have traded up to take Markelle Fultz.
I think I'll still take Lonzo over Markelle Fultz.
Jesus Christ, what an awful the Sixers. Poor Embiid. Jesus Christ.
Seth Rich Rogan brought up the point. You kind of need to get new ownership. I've never really opened up to that idea with considering the Buss family should sell the Lakers and everything like that, just because family business. But
the family business was costing the Lakers because they're being ran like a family business now.
Like these things aren't ran like family businesses no more. Nope. Mark Cuban is just like a side partner on the Mavericks now. Right. And it's with the whole coaching thing, JJ Redick getting hired, or presumably is going to be official any day now. I just think this just reeks of just like JJ Redick he's never coached little kids before. James,
he's coached little kids before. He's coached his own little kids. But that's the point. But that's exactly your point. And don't get me wrong, like there have been plenty of former NBA players with no prior coach experience being hired. Chauncey Billups in Portland. Steve Kerr was never a coach. He was a GM, but he was never a coach. Jason Kidd wasn't coaching nobody, and he just coached teams to the finals, and he stunk as a coach to start out. Like there's been plenty of those. There's been plenty of former players with no coaching experience get the job. So like that's just a thing. Like if you've played in the league and look, you dress good, you talk nice, you got all your teeth, we may hire you. You may get hired as a coach.
You do a podcast with LeBron James as disguised as a podcast, but is actually like some other shit. This is an all-time swindle job, by the way, too. Swindling. Clutch Sports does it again. LeBron James does it again. Incredible. I don't know. Like the whole thing with JJ is just like the way he talks about the game.
I don't know why he would want this job.
Like this is a no-win situation. It's a bad job for him. It's a bad job. It's a setup. But if you're not going to hire a coach that, like, I feel like this is clearly a LeBron era hire. Whatever, you found someone to take that for however long that is. Then after this is over, you can clear him out too, and then move the game forward from there.
My question is, how many more coaches is your boy gonna be able to hire without being moved on from?
Rob Pelinka?
Yeah.
As many as LeBron wants.
Does Pelinka actually want him? Because remember, Pelinka, I remember correctly, didn't LeBron at first want Ty Lue, and then there was a money issue?
Well, there's always a money issue for Lakers coaches because they don't believe in paying for the position. Like, They just don't. They're like, hey, you can come work for the Lakers. They just don't spend money on coaches for whatever reason. I don't know why. It's just something that they don't do.
Well, I mean, that leads you to believe the money issue is real.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The money issue is real. People think like the Lakers like are cheap / broke. Or as far as the buses. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean that relatively to the rest of the league now with all this tech money in the league now at ownership or governorship.
Yeah. But we should probably move on from the basketball a little bit.
Well,
at least the men.
There's one other thing. We're not going to talk about this for long like we did the other two times. There's no way. There's no fucking way.
Yeah. So the Indiana Fever and Chicago Sky round 2 happened this weekend. I actually only caught the first half and like the finish of the game. Okay. So I was driving to Atlanta to get to a brunch. But yeah, man.
We're gonna circle back to that. But yeah.
Bro, I went to this place. Next time you come here, we gotta go. It's called like the 42 Cafe. It's like based on like Jackie Robinson, whatever. Good shit there. So
okay.
But yeah, man, big game for Caitlin Clark. I think she was 23, 9, and 8. In a victory for the Fever. Of course, there was the big flagrant foul call and stuff like that. I think you kind of know where we stand almost without even saying it.
No. Because if it gets clipped up, we need to say it. It was a flagrant foul 1. It was a basketball play, but she got hit in the head. So those are now flagrants now in the NBA and also in the W. It's a flagrant. Nobody took a cheap shot at Caitlyn. Nobody needs to be called for fucking assault. Chicago Tribune. It was a basketball play. We can move on. The only reason why this is even a story is because Angel Reese has made this a story over the last 2 years.
Yeah. She was, in these post game interviews, sounding upset, James. But competitor, you want to win. I understand. Quietly, the Indiana Fever have snuck into playoff position, James,
because they won 2 in a row for the first time. How about that?
Look at that. So like,
shouldn't they be trying to tank though?
You know, there's like, it's like, all right, if it's a case where the expansion team is not guaranteed the top slot, yes, you should tank.
Mm-hmm.
However, if it's a case where it's like you can suck and you don't get the number one pick because the expansion team is gonna get it, fuck it, try to win. Like try to like
I get you.
move this shit, like, you know, try to do as well as you can. And you know, I think Caitlin's gonna be a earned all-star starter the way this is going. And you know, Angel Reese, for her credit, in the game, you know, she was 4-13 and stuff like that, but I didn't see, you know, her effect on the game, but she did grab 13 boards.
Yeah, she's been like one of the best rebounders in the league, but or not, but like, I think if you separate the Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark thing from the last 2 years, and you just say, hey, we have a very talented rookie class. Look at all of them so far. Appreciate that. I think that's good. But that's not what brought most people here to even watch the WNBA or even discuss the WNBA. It's been ever since the national championship game when Angel Reese did the thing to make fun of Caitlin Clark, what she did to other people, which people didn't know and thought was some unsportsmanlike thing, and they felt the need to protect this white woman who overwhelmingly every single time brings up like, I don't really need to be protecting y'all from y'all. I don't know why y'all going to bat for me like this. So it's just strange. So, yeah, like,
Caitlin in this game blocking shots.
Yeah.
Averaging 1 block a game. James, defender. We're going to make all defense team.
She's Derek White now.
Look, don't look. There's a lot of agendas that's going to have to go up in smoke. Look, Diana Taurasi. Look, Cheryl Swoops.
Look, she's blocking shots, but I don't exactly know if she, you know, keeping people in front of her. It don't look like she keeping people in front of her when I watch these games. But yeah, she is blocking shots after people get behind her. So yeah, you know, these are productive rookies. I think Caitlin Clark is more showing like, hey, this is a very good player and an all-star and a person that's going to make a bunch of all-star teams regardless of her fame or notoriety. Like, she's going to be someone that's like going to earn this thing in this league and be very good for years to come. I don't know how good she's going to end up. I don't know if they're going to change this league around the incoming crop of talent to further
enhance them,
further enhance them / showcase them or whatever. But whether or not they do, she's already playing at a certain level, or it doesn't really matter on one way or the other. So yeah, like
seeing a lot of those stat muse type stats where she's putting herself in the class of like Tamika Catchings, Diana Taurasi,
yeah,
stuff like that. And then all of a sudden it was becoming clear why Diana was acting up to me. It's like she saw herself coming. That's all this is.
So what was I gonna say? So
Diana Taurasi don't exactly seem like the most welcoming player in the world.
That's true. Yeah, I think that, like, you know, this is what I'm gonna say. For all the people that are doing the Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark thing, I would just like to say that I've watched 4 games when they played each other. I've not seen Angel Reese outplay Caitlin Clark in any of these 4 games, regardless of the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that could obviously be spotted as this is what we talking about with Luka and Kyrie versus the Celtics. Like, there's a talent gap there. But like, when I've watched these 4 games over these last 2 years, one person has played better in all 4 games than the other one. And it doesn't matter which one is won and lost, but now the record is 3-1 Caitlin. So I don't care about the win and loss record right now. I'm just pointing out, like, the better player is Caitlin Clark. There's a reason why she was drafted number 1 and the other one was drafted 7th. Like, there's not no slight to Angel Reese. I think the people that want to defend her are more than valid to say that she's good. She's the reason why I watch. That's cool. That's great. I'm not even saying that as a dismissive thing, but I don't think it's I don't think you're operating good faith if you are watch these 4 games they played and come to the conclusion that like anything other right now than Clayton Clark is the better basketball player so far. It can change, who knows? But so far through 4 games over these 2 years, Clayton Clark's been a better basketball player.
Seems like
you can like both. It's fine. I like both.
It seems like as the talent gap is like closed between the teams, like from junior year to senior year, and then now in the W, like this has become something where it's like, oh, like Caitlin not carrying like Kate Martin and like the Sisters of the Poor with her. Like if there's it seems like there's equal talent here. Like there's some winning going on. So yeah, and obviously comment from B Smooth. He said, "I wish all the new."
This is pro sports. Like they're gonna. Angel Reese is going to eventually win some of these. Yeah. Quite frankly, given that she's with, I think that she probably has a better nucleus of young talent around her going forward. So like things can change quickly.
And a better coach. Yeah, that's kind of like equipped to handle things.
Well, maybe. We don't actually. I don't know if Teresa is a better coach. I will say this though. I know Teresa, and like I respect Teresa as opposed to the other coach who I don't fucking know nor respect. So that does help. That does kind of help. That does kind of help. We'll be like, I think there's more faith in this one. Why? I watched her career. I know who the fuck this is.
Yeah.
No new friends.
Yeah. We will see about if Chrissy Sides like kind of puts it together, because it's like there are some games where it's like, and then we should mention Aaliyah Boston has like stepped her game up massively this past week. I believe she was player of the week in the league. Yeah. So like
I started seeing Shaq and Kobe, the Shaq and Kobe meme with her and with Aaliyah and Caitlin. Yeah, she was funny.
If they figure it out, like back-to-back number 1 picks, high, low, big, small. And look, if like
gave the ball to her in the post, she hit that hook shot to seal the game. Yeah.
Look, and if she can find a way to become effective as a screener, you maybe don't have to get rid of her like I had like thought maybe like a week ago, where it's like, yeah, they just can't play together. Like this is like Jahlil Okafor and Steph Curry. Like this is not happening. Like I thought, I'm like, if she can just be effective like in the way she's been effective the last week, they're gonna be a tough out. Like as these years go on. So
now just imagine
by Aaliyah Boston there.
Now just imagine if like everything in the locker room was like congruent, as opposed to like people dating other people that's talking shit. Like what if there were actually some good vibes in that locker room instead of the smoke we see around that locker room. And man,
there's some shit going on.
Hey,
I like Nelisa Smith on the court,
right?
But this is nasty. What's going on?
Yeah, and man, like the people, I saw some of the tweets when Dejanay tweeted out what she tweeted, and their responses was like, "You have played 4 years. You have scored 750 points in your career." And Caitlin is through half of her first season, and she has 250 points already. And I was like, "Oh, we playing this game.
It's gonna get ugly."
How do I extricate myself from this? I was reaching for my shoulder. To be like, I wish I had a parachute on so I could press it so I can get out of here. Into safety, bro. I was like, oh, I wish I did something across this part of Twitter, because it's real nasty. We not doing accolades like this.
That's funny.
We're really putting people on the subject screen like this. Is nasty. Like, look, man, you say what you want to, but when the Dejanay go out there and the Connecticut Sun play the Fever on willing to get their ass kicked. So you can put them stats how you want to, but let's you know what else is a stat? The win-loss column.
Yeah. DJ Carrington has been someone that has like brought it on the court this year. Breaking her foot off in
Caitlin's young ass. Yes.
Yeah. And it seems like, I don't know if this is like, yeah, dog, like I want to try to prove myself, or if like it's like, yeah, my woman is in a locker room with her, and there's like, there's some kind of shady directions being given here.
Yeah, that's the thing where I'm like, There's gotta be, and it makes you think like, all right, well then, like, what is being said that we don't know that's happening amongst the community of WNBA players because this is beyond just defending themselves against bigots that are on Twitter.
Yeah.
It feels that way. This is beyond them just defending themselves and closing ranks amongst the bigots. This feels like
we gonna send
I'm going to that place where the rest of these idiots talking about resentment, all this shit. They don't give a fuck about her. They just competitors like everybody else, right? You can go back and watch LeBron James in the league, or Kobe Bryant in the league, and other people call themselves Kobe stoppers like Ruben Patterson. There's all types of dumbass that competitive. You know why they made it to the league? Because they dumbass that didn't realize their places in the world, right? So yeah, I'm not tripping on that. But like, there seems to be like, something is going around where it's like, is there some word or talk about Caitlyn that makes them not want to fuck with her or wrap their arm around her or be like, the kid's gonna be all right? Because the only person I really ever heard be like, the kid's gonna be all right really is like Asia Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just, you know, I'm just like, you know, I don't know if you ever see me tweeting whenever one of these things happen. I'm like, bro, what is going on that I don't know? Am I missing something in this math equation? Because the math ain't math, and y'all, there's that variable that I'm unaware of. I would like to know the variable one day. Yeah. I really would.
Yeah, somebody gonna write a book that eventually about all this, and
of course.
It's gonna be a purchase of mine. So I don't know, man. Like, it's you know, exciting time in the league. Looking forward to consider. They're actually going to be here tomorrow. I'm not going or whatever because the ticket prices are kind of outrageous.
Do you know? Oh yeah.
They're in State Farm.
Who? I think it was. What were we talking about? We were talking about the weekend after the 4th, right? Isn't the Aces? Aren't the Aces coming to town on like the 14th or 13th?
The Aces are coming.
Okay, yeah, we might have to make that move. Get to see Asia in person and Kate Martin. But yeah,
look, hey, you trying to show up early for the autographs?
I mean, is Asia gonna have a platinum in?
I mean, we can put a request on the internet. You know, Asia, please show up in the platinum for James. Look, and shit. I mean, you know, you may not even have to show up. James will come to you. You could just fly James out, Adrian Wilson.
All right,
if you like.
All right. That's that. All right. Yep.
He ain't say no.
I did not.
Oh, so, moving on,
and that was this week's Black Woman Review.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. So the G1 Climax participants got announced. I am pulling up the list of names in said event. Very kind of noteworthy, newsworthy field. I would say, looking at it, as soon as I can get it. Here we go. So we've got a play-in tournament for the last spot with for Block A and Block B, featuring some big names on one side. Hiroshi Tanahashi is in on the B side. Tomohiro Ishii in the A side. Taichi in the B side. Yoshihashi on the A side. From there, we just go to we got some other guys, Callum Newman, Bolton Oleg, like on each side. Yeah. Looking at the A block, so we got Shota Umino, Tetsuya Naito, Shingo Takagi, Sonata, the Great Okan, Zack Sabre Jr., Gabe Kidd, Jake Lee, Evil. Then on the B block,
hey, Rich.
Yes.
Did New Japan change their website?
I heard the website does not work or something like that.
I have it sent me to a link to a Medium account.
Oh yeah. Sounds about right.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
The yen is down. No, I'm playing.
Can't be down that fucking much. Jesus.
Oh, if they like, they can post the stuff on socialsuplex.com if they want. I'm sure Jeremy would, just ask for a small fee from New Japan Pro Wrestling. But,
yikes.
But the B block, we got El Phantasmo, Hiroki Goto, Yota Tsuji, Yuya Uemura, Jeff Cobb, Hanare, David Finlay, Ren Narita, and AEW's Konosuke Takeshita. Man.
Yep.
And then obviously, one on each side for the plans. As I see this, and obviously this is the G1, and then I'm thinking about, wow, no Okada, no Ospreay.
Yep.
And we're in danger of losing possibly Hiroshi Tanahashi or Tomohiro Ishii. No Jay White, forgot about him. But he hadn't been doing the last couple G1s. Yeah. And I see that I feel like this is a more positive field that you could ask for in the light of those departures.
Yeah.
Going back, obviously, to 2 blocks, which is always a help.
Yes.
The
less
4 block,
riffraff.
I think they tried it with the 4 block, and it just didn't connect the way that they had hoped for it. I'm looking at it. It looks like A block is your I don't know. B block's got some hitters too. I would say.
But it still has a top star, and it has Shingo in it, who's will you say he's still the best? He's still the best New Japan wrestler right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
him or Ishii.
So I still in Ishii, which qualifier is he in? The A block
qualifier? On the A side.
Okay. Yeah. So but then again, it has Evil and Jake Lee in it. So whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to say. Yeah, sure. I'm with whatever you want. Whichever one you want to dub is the traditional A block and traditional B block. I'm with.
Yeah, so like I'm looking at this thing trying to figure out how this is all going to work, and my traditional Gato brain is like, all right, Tetsuya Naito's the champion to A block. He's going to make it through to the top 3 of the A block. Yep. There's going to be 2 guys. Someone will beat him, and then it's those 2 guys that will decide who wins the A block.
Yeah.
Now, in that situation, it's like, all right, how are the defenses going to fall throughout the rest of the year? Is he going to do another Jake Lee match? Like, is Jake Lee going to beat him during the tournament? Jake Lee basically, lose the rest of the time. Is there going to be one person who loses to Tetsuya Naito who ends up winning the block anyway? I don't know who that will be looking at all this. And then I look at the B block, and I just like, all right, if the winner's going to come from B block, who's it going to be? And I'm scared to death. And Josh from Keepin It Strong Style assured me they are not doing this, but I'm scared to death Yuya Uemura is going to win the G1 here. Because I just look at that block. I'm like, all right, we going with El Phantasmo?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the case. Like, I think it's Tsuji's. I think it's Tsuji. Like, it would, because, he's still doing
That's kind of tough.
You think so?
I mean, they did have a match earlier this year as well for the title, so like it would be an immediate rematch, kind of. I know they did it with Sonata and all that, but I don't know.
The reason why it throws me off the scent of it being Uemura is like he has to go the long route after you get your hair cut. Like, you got to wait at least a year. It feels, at least, that's kind of how you got to run out the gimmick of your head is shaved or low for a year, and then you can have your rebuild after that. But but outside of that is like, it ain't gonna be, it's not gonna be El Phantasmo. We like El Phantasmo, it's not gonna be him. It's not gonna be Goto. He can't main event a dome. It's not gonna be Cobb or Hanare. It damn sure ain't gonna be Narita or Finlay. So like, the only answer would be Takeshita or Uemura or Tsuji, if you're actually really trying to make them a main eventer. Or main event a top space to have a high level match. So like, it seems like this looks like it has Yota Tsuji written all over it.
I think Takeshi's gonna go crazy in this thing.
Yeah. I can't wait to see him.
Yeah, that's night 1, by the way. So we ain't even gotta wait for it. So they know what we want. Like they know what we want to see.
Yeah.
and then I look at the A block.
Do you kind of wish Sabre was in the B block instead of A block?
Yes, because then it's like, all right, they've kept Naito and Sabre away from each other for quite a long time, and thankfully they have, because they wrestled each other a bunch of times, like a couple years ago.
It's always fun.
It's almost a fresh match again.
Yeah, it's always fun, but yeah, they have wrestled each other a lot, and they have kind of, they have done a good job protecting Shingo versus Naito. They have done that.
For some reason, they have Evil in this block. That makes me feel like Naito or Jake Lee and Evil or Naito's matches after the G1, because they have not done Tetsuya Naito versus Evil for the title this year. And they just love to do it. Yeah. And Evil got a shot at Dominion, but whatever, I don't know. Tomohiro Ishii's got to be in this thing. If he's not in this thing and he just kind of slumps off like this, and if he can't do it, he can't do it. But man, I'm just gonna be heartbroken if Tomohiro Ishii isn't able to be in this thing, and knowing we lost the greatest G1 competitor to ever live, like it almost with no notice. And Josh had a great idea of like, what if this is just the gold watch run and they finally pull the trigger on Ishii? I'm like, I don't know, man. They could have already done this, like so.
I don't think so. I think they're focused on the younger guys, right? So, I have a hard time seeing like, Shota or Tsuji winning this. I have a hard time not seeing one of those. Like, I mean, I guess they could do Sonata. I would hate that idea, but they love doing that match.
If they do Sonata and Tetsuya Naito for the third time in obviously the Dome, the rematch they did, and then do it again, I'm gonna shoot somebody. You can't get no gun over there, right? When people get assassinated, they get hit with a makeshift gun, and people, when the gunshot goes off, you're like, "What the hell is that?" Yeah. Okay. Sir Sam had a question: does the B block live up to the reputation of B block? We're gonna see, because there's guys in there. There's Tsuji, Takeshita, Hanare, Cobb.
Yeah, they got that DNA in there. I mean, Phantasmo seems more like a historical A block guy, but they got that in there. Yeah. Some of that DNA is there. I would say that DNA of what made up that B block in 2018 and through then, like, I feel like that fits more description of what is the core or the nucleus of the B block than the A block. Like, if I think of a B block guy, I probably think of like a Jake Kidd, a Shingo, of course, but that's really kind of it. I would say the B block fits more of the aesthetic of the historical B block, and the A block, I don't think it really fits more of the pretty boy-ish type of thing, or the top guy type of thing that it used to. But I mean, the B block still definitely has the recipes.
Yeah, Cobb and Honare, they're gonna beat the shit out of each other. Yep. And they're same unit, so that's a rare match.
Right. And maybe Ren Narita decides not to do fuckery for a couple of these matches.
I think Phantasmo and Takeshita is gonna be great.
Yep.
Goto and Takeshita. Goto at any point can turn the clock back. Right. So
yeah, Takeshita, Goto always has a good tournament. He always has a good tournament. And then like Takeshita, I want to see him versus all these guys. Well, maybe not so much Finley, but I'm sure they'll make something of that too.
And if Tanahashi gets in this block.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Tanahashi
and Takeshita match.
Tanahashi and Takeshita. That that's. We've seen what Okada and Tanahashi looks like, so but Takeshi's a little bit heavier hitter, so it'd be a different kind of match. I don't know, man. Yeah, the safe picks are Ishii and Tanahashi for the last two spots, but I feel like we're not getting both of them. Like, and then you got to think about Taichi's there, Kenta possibly in the top of A block. I don't know, man.
I think we're past the point of Kenta being in these. I don't think he wants to be in these. Like, think of what he's done. Like, remember he was doing the book tour a couple years ago?
Yes.
Yeah, like I don't think he actually wants to do this anymore. Like, do the full tournament. Like, it's one thing when it was it was a shorter blocks, but like 9, I don't know, man. Like I don't even know if I don't, you know how Naito is. Naito probably ain't gonna get ready to do like 3 really great matches in this whole thing anyway. Like there are certain guys where like their bodies are so creaky. It's like I don't know if you really want to, if they really even want to do this, but they just kind of have to. Yeah. Like, and we're at this point now where like, you know, we've had last year in the mini blocks, like now we got some of these guys with some tournament experience, how to tell a cohesive narrative over the length of a tournament. Now it's like, now let's do it in an expanded version of the, you know, the more traditional 9 matches. So I'm interested to see what the young guys got. And I think Takesha's a great ad for this.
All right, man, let's do it. The Wyatt Sicks.
Yikes.
So Monday Night Raw last night, of course, I was not watching such a thing. They had the debut of this group called the Wyatt Sicks, and this is spelled 6 like SICK, the number 6 on there. I sent a tweet out, which is kind of embedded in the background here, as you can see. I was like, this looks ass, essentially. That apparently woke up, you know, a lot of people that, to put it lightly, vehemently disagreed with me. You know, at one point I was being called a nigger with the ER.
That's crazy.
With the ER. That's crazy. That's crazy. It was like, yeah, man, these, I don't know if it's just the connection they have still to Bray Wyatt. I don't know if it's always Groundhog Day. They immediately jumped to racism. Yes, as they're saying in the chat. I never in my life have I had my own picture posted to myself. And I was like, yeah, man, I know what I look like. Like, I don't think I'm a bad looking guy. So go ahead, you know, post what you want. So I handled the dozens of them, you know, hundreds of them that were there. If you want to read, you know, find a nice block list, you can go through that on there. But I saw this. This was like 10 people were allegedly killed on this show by this group. This group has Bo Dallas. It has Nikki Cross, Dexter Loomis, Joe Gacy.
Hold on. Is he Bo Dallas or is he Uncle Howdy?
Oh, he's Uncle Howdy. Yes. So he's Uncle Howdy, and there's one other person in the group. Oh, Eric Rowan. So
go over that list again, please.
We've got Uncle Howdy.
Yeah.
Eric Rowan.
Yeah.
Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis.
Wait,
now
you said 6, right?
Yes.
Did you just say 5?
Yes.
Oh, the 5 is just like they mentioned Bray's existence.
The 6.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
You know.
Okay.
So, all right. To put it lightly, the regular Bray Wyatt, like the swamp leader, the dirty swamp wizard, all that stuff, right? I never liked any of that.
Right.
When we get to the Fiend, we're talking unholy levels of putridity. I may have invented a word there.
You may have.
The Fiend and everything around it, I think, is the worst shit I've ever seen in professional wrestling history. I'm not playing. I'm not joking. I'm not doing any of this with you. I'm not disrespecting the dead. I'm disrespecting the living here. WWE had a golden opportunity to never, and I mean never, have to put any of this stuff on television again. Gift wrap to them. However, for whatever reason, this has made it through. Chad Gable was shot in the head, it looked like. Laid out dead. They killed Gunther. They did this to Gunther James.
Are you serious?
Yes. That guy. The number one contender, the guy has a world title match at SummerSlam. I do not understand the love, the passion, the energy that people have for this utter trash, garbage, pollution. Who is the ace of this group, James?
I mean, identifying ace would imply that like there's going to be pro wrestling done, and I don't think
this is insane. Case. This is insane to bring this back. This is I can't believe this.
I don't know if you can say bring this back. Like what? This was never a thing before.
Like they have the lore of all the Wyatt Funhouse stuff, and they're all dressed in all the little gimmicks or whatever.
Hold on. I mean, now if I'm correct, right? Alexa Bliss has been off for a while, right?
She has.
Now, before she left, and before Bray passed, she was talking. She took over Powers of the Fiend, and then eventually the plug got pulled on that. Like she was tweeting out, like
they gave her the gimmick.
She's like, "Let the story play out. There's going to be a shoe that drops it for all this, right?" And that was like over a year ago. And I'm pretty sure I have it in a bookmark somewhere. I'm just thinking of like the time when it'd be like, all right, where the fuck is it now? Because like you ain't here, they here. Are you the missing six that's gonna eventually drop out to fuck over some awful match that's one of the worst matches of the year? What is this?
She did have a baby.
Okay.
But I don't know.
She gets time. So I had to add time. There's time for her to get back to then not pay this off.
Right.
Okay.
I just see this, and I don't think it's conducive to professional wrestling. I think this is something else. I think this is like something else that Paul Levesque is going to get to throw out there and get people. They did everything. The quote unquote story here.
Rich, you said
they killed 10 people. They killed 10 people. The murdering that they're doing is like, how do you put this shit into the rest of the world of the promotion? You have murderers running around.
Why don't they murder everybody and become champions?
Why do they care about championships at all at this point?
I don't know. Same reason why Bray Wyatt ended up being champion.
Yeah.
Even though he shouldn't care about it. But then he'd be like, I got the whole world in my hands and point at the belt. Whatever.
I heard various reporting from people I respect that this is not going to be some supernatural thing, and I'm willing to.
So they're like purge reports
at face value. Yeah, I'm willing to take their reporting at face value. However, the information they were given, I don't know.
It don't match with the aesthetic.
And it's like, if they want to keep it grounded in reality, I got a great way for them to ground it in reality. How about if it didn't exist?
Yeah. Because once you be like, hey, we're grounding this in reality, and it's like, oh, okay, so they're murdering people or they're leaving people like bleeding from their heads and incapacitated, is like, okay, so if that's where the starting point is, what is the escalation? What does it escalate to? Because pro wrestling is about escalation to sell stories. If you're starting off at people that are getting their fucking craniums cracked, like they stepping up to death row on Dre Day, then where are we on when we take the road on this journey with them? Because that's the starting point. Then like the price is real high. Like eventually someone will have to get murked. If these aren't people already murked anyway, and like when you told me that apparently Gable looks to be shot in the head, I was wondering like, does that mean he resigned or did he get the same treatment that Ricochet just got because he's leaving? I don't know any of this. I don't know what the hell's going on. So yes, it's strange, man. It's kind of strange for now, and you know they got more time to have more answers. But like most stuff with the Wyatt stuff, I'm quick to be like, hey, I have no faith that you're gonna pull this through because there's never any there's never ever like a good resolution to any of this stuff. It's just the mystery box again.
It's Groundhog Day that never comes. They fall for the same shit over and over again, where it's like they see something at the beginning of this and then it leads to nothing. And it's always led to nothing. And just like it's always led to nothing, this too will lead to nothing.
I have a pretty safe bet on that. Unless they, maybe they do like, well, they can turn this to like some a dirtier looking version of Judgment Day, where it's like, all right, well, we make them a successful faction, and then they'll break off and have turmoil or whatever else, and therefore it'll be worth it. But it's like that. If that's hopeful, I mean, I think that's the best case scenario, right? Because I don't think there's any other scenario other than that makes it a good. This turns out well, other than that. And I gotta say, none of the matches gonna work. None of the matches gonna make you be like, yeah, because it's like
all the matches gonna suck.
Because at the end of the day, Judgment Day is Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley. Like there ain't none of those in that group of characters you just named.
Like.
You can put a belt on any of them three at any given moment, any given time. You can't do that with that group of miscasts.
Yeah, man. Part of me wants them to embrace this even more. Just like overrun the entire show with it until people are like, all right, man, what the fuck is this? And, keep it going like that. But I'm like, I don't know how if you're a wrestler that's on this show that you see that and you're like, I want to sign up and work with them. How do you do that and retain your credibility, not get killed or swallowed by it, or like not be involved in some goofy shit? It's a miracle LA Knight still has a career right now.
Hey, yeah, that's true.
Absolute miracle.
Rich, maybe this is like the doghouse. Like you end up in a program with it, that means you're in the doghouse. Like this is like, hey,
Joe Gacy was another guy in this thing
who also stayed. Yeah. Maybe this is a situation where like, hey, we see who's got heat with Triple H and whoever else based off.
That's who they use to write niggas off.
Like, hey, we gonna cool your jets a little bit. Like we're gonna hit you with that Goldberg cattle prod right here. You zap your ass real quick and cool you down for a couple 3 months.
James,
it's a crazy expression, but yeah.
Do you imagine pitching CM Punk to work with this unit?
Now, keep in mind, CM Punk did work for Bray Wyatt in the end of 2013 when he was tagging with Daniel Bryan. It was like for a month or two.
One more time, James. James.
Now, keep in mind, CM Punk did feud with Bray Wyatt for like a short little end of 2013 thing when he was tagging with Daniel Bryan for like a month or two. So that did happen. But then again, there wasn't as much stink on Wyatt at the time because we didn't realize we weren't able to see all the levels of bad things he would get himself up to until after CM Punk left. But yeah, do you see a top guy that CM Punk wants to wrestle there? Because I don't. Like that man is gonna be facing like the Judgment Days and the Drew McIntyre. They even say, nah, give me Bo Dallas. Sorry, give me Uncle
Ain't
Holly.
No way. How do you walk up to Seth Rollins, right? And be like, yo, I know the original Fiend nearly killed your career. How would you like to work with his brother and like 5 other niggas? Like, does Seth Rollins just immediately tell you to go fuck yourself? Or does he be like, you know what? Let's get him, pal.
Look, Triple H get on that phone with Seth. Seth take a deep sigh and says, all right, Hunter. All right, H. Whatever you say.
Who is the funniest person on the roster you can imagine like this being pitched to?
The Rock. Are you fucking kidding me? The Rock is absolutely the fucking answer. There's nobody that would say no, fuck you, fat going down that way. Not at all. Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
I love it.
You know how that shit will go? In fact, I know how that shit gonna go. Think of the last time we saw some wild shit with The Rock. Rock showed up and Rock bombed everyone and beat that nigga in 5 seconds. That's the most we getting.
It's time for the rematch, James.
Oh my God. Look,
Yo.
Rock. Rock be like, yeah, you want to feud him? Yeah. What you got in mind, Rock? All right, well, I'll pull off the weight belt and I'll whoop their candy asses for 8 straight minutes, and then I stick my foot on their chest and beat them. I love it. Sounds good, Rock.
James, imagine them walking up to Roman Reigns and be like, "Yo, we got an idea for when you come back. We gonna let you wrestle the Wyatt Sicks."
Look, now keep in mind,
James, Roman Reigns will announce his retirement the next day.
Well, you gotta remember, Rich. He was remember. Roman and Bray and Bo were all riding together, so he might be like, I'll give them something. I won't feud with them, but I'll give them something. I'll give them, like, they get in the way of me doing something nefarious and I back down and then I move on and we never discuss it ever again. But I'm never going to actually get in a ring with any of these clowns.
I think Roman was cool with Bray, and that's it.
I don't.
Ain't no way. Can we bring back Goldberg, James? Like, to finish off the unit. You know, there's murderous, torturous stuff happening right now. I can only, assume that karmic justice needs to be served. When does Goldberg come and hit them one by one with the jackhammer and stack them? When does it happen?
I mean, Goldberg does like to be a hero.
He beat their leader already. What would he do to the minions? He might spear 2 of them at once.
I mean, why not? Man. Yeah, man, it's bad.
Who will be the... How long
Cody. Hold on. Cody, right here. Anything they suggest you do with them, the answer is fucking no. You stay the fuck away from them. No. Absolutely not. This is some Hogan Dungeon of Doom shit you are walking yourself into. You fuck with them. Do not do it. Do not do it. Abort, stay away, avoid.
Absolutely not.
Obfuscate. All words meaning don't fucking do it. No.
Hey man, Hunter loves being on screen, and I don't know exactly if he was involved in one of the deaths last night. I don't know if he was one of the people have like zoomed in and tried to kind of look at it. But
look,
can Triple H sell for them? Can he sell a heart attack for them?
I don't think. Well, do you remember what Triple H said in regards to him not wanting to really put over Kurt Angle and say, like, because I'm so much bigger than him, it's not really believable.
Yeah.
I don't think Triple H dying by the hands of these clowns would be believable in the eyes of Triple H. So I don't think he would sign off on that one. Okay? Sorry.
Oh fuck. This is incredible.
I can't believe they did it, Gunther. You ever watch Godfathers? Either one of them?
Nah, I never watched.
Well, there was a line.
Long as hell.
There was a line. Well, that's true. There's a line in one like Marlon Brando's like, they massacred my boy.
Yeah.
they did it on the Gunther. They massacred my boy like this. Fuck. All right, man.
Speaking of Cody Rhodes, this wasn't on the run sheet, but this happened last week, and I feel like we kind of need to talk about this.
What happened?
So they sent Cody Rhodes to NXT.
Oh shit! Yeah,
no number was popped. And
wasn't it against a finals game?
No. And Trick Williams in a promo asked Cody if he was going to come to the cookout.
Yes, he did.
But in an inviting way, not a questioning way.
Yes.
Essentially. And this has...
Which is kind of funny considering, like, in theory, seeing that he's married to Brandy, there's cookouts that he already goes to and would, in theory, be privileged to along with his child. So why would he be an invite from a stranger? Is are you insinuating that Brandy is not invited to the cookout? Because that would be fucking hilarious.
Hey, yo. I saw this and I'm like, wow, it's the culmination of the joke going way too far.
Yeah, it's been co-opted.
And it was like the timeline of this thing was not getting fucked up. This was used to make fun of him while he was in AEW.
Yes, the Martin Luther Road stuff, that was not endearing. That was satirical.
Yes.
That was to laugh at him.
Yes. And by proxy, the promotion.
Yes, for allowing it to be on their screens.
As time went on, it got to, the Photoshops. It got to...
and the Photoshops were meant to mock Cody at when they first started. Like when you saw Cody's face Photoshop over the Joel Santana draped in American flag wear from, I think, Dipset Anthem music video, that was to laugh at Cody. It wasn't to say Cody is
cool.
This person that, cross over some intersectionality. No.
From there, eventually signs to WWE. A lot of that switches up and is used to embrace him. From all the usual suspects, y'all know him. And it now has reached a point to where he was being juxtapositioned against Swerve as a champion, as the real black champion in one, just random thing I've seen. Yes. It results in him being sent out there with Trick Williams, and then them doing this because the joke has gone so far through the underground, it has broken through to these suits.
Yeah.
Who had thought it would be funny to do this.
Right.
And then it hit social media, went, the two ways. People obviously think this is dumb. Some people love it.
Right.
Whatever.
And keep in mind, this joke about cookouts and inviting white people to them is so played out that this is like us. This is something that I said to you at the time when I saw it. I was like, this is something that the New Day would have done with John Cena in 2014-15. It is 2024. This is a tired joke. This is like when you would see Kevin Nash wearing FUBU in the Wolfpack, and it's like,
yeah,
y'all think it's real cool or whatever else because he is doing something that is from black culture or whatever else, but in reality, motherfuckers been doing that. And like, I think Kevin Nash at one point said like, wrestling is always like 7 years behind.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is another example of that. Like this, like you got this joke about a decade late, bro. Like this is like the equivalent of like watching Miley Cyrus. People think that Miley Cyrus invented twerking.
Yikes.
It's like, and that was 2013. I was in 5th grade hearing about twerking. So you're unaware of the Yin Yang Twins before Get Low?
Yeah.
What are y'all talking about? Anyway.
That's years ago.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeet, that's another good example. Yeet.
Oh, yes. Yeet is fucking old, too.
The Yeet Man?
Yes, the Yeet Man. Yes. And that's the reason why we call him the Yeet Man, because, like, this shit old as fuck, bro.
Yeah. I just see this stuff, and I'm just like, man, it just gets people asking a lot of questions that I don't necessarily want to explain.
Dr. Leary, Lex Luger and FUBU. Yes, he was.
Yes, Lex Luger was wearing FUBU.
He absolutely was a FUBU. About to bust through that fucking baseball jersey.
Yes. You know, people backstage like Michael Hayes and the Road Dogg, you know, clearing these jokes about this kind of shit. It's just real nasty, you know, when I start thinking about all this stuff, because like stuff just doesn't get in promos for people to say without several levels of the dialogue being passed through, you know, it clearing, you know, every one of these. So my question is not who said it was okay. It's why did they think like why did they say it was okay? What was their reasoning?
For the same reason they send R-Truth out there to basically be a infantile for the last decade. They think it's fucking hilarious that he's a one-man minstrel show.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And it's now it's like 12 minutes from midnight, or a couple minutes from midnight. It's gonna be Juneteenth. So all this stuff is happening in the middle of this, obviously, and I just see it and I'm blown away and amazed and befuddled all at the same time that this goofy thing has been allowed to grow legs like this. And then now I have to I feel like I have to explain what a cookout is, what the concept of a cookout is, what the because it's not. It's like,
here's the thing: we don't actually have to explain it because
you're right.
But we don't have to actually explain it. Like there are plenty of things that come up where someone will ask me, or a white person will ask me something about black culture, and I'll be like, bro, I ain't got the bandwidth right now, nor the inclination to have to sit here and hold your hand on this. And then sometimes I'll be like, hey man, Google that shit. But then Sam, in this particular case, Sam hit the fucking Urban Dictionary, and I was like, no. The cookout is not what the fuck you think it is. It ain't no slang. It ain't no slang. It ain't no high five on the black hand side. None of that shit. It's exactly what the fuck it means. It's basically a picnic with barbecue. Stay away from Urban Dictionary and pick up a real dictionary. I'm tired of this.
Look, there is that, and then there's like, you know, there's the concept of the cookout. It's like, hey, you're embraced essentially. Like
that's what it's supposed to be. But it's like, bro,
it's
you being embraced by a handful of black people does not mean you are being embraced by the quote black community unquote. That's
not how it works.
No, that's not how it works. We're not a monolith. Never mind. I was going to say, like, you know, fuck it, I'm going to say it. When I went to Japan and I took pictures with Ano, that does not mean I'm down with Nihon or Nihon embrace me like I'm one of their own. I'm not Yasuke. Get the fuck out of here.
Nihon James is a joke.
Right. They're playing on that same thing, like, the ha, you went over there and, like, it's a joke. But no one is actually. But I'm not gonna come around in the back and be like, all of a sudden I got the rising sun behind me in pictures and shit. No.
Yeah, James not showing up on this motherfucker with a gi on, like.
Oh my fucking god! Right.
He's not showing up, you know, with silks. You know, he's not showing up in with the Takesha pants. No.
I'm not showing up with like the Hikaru Shida Hazuki Toby shoes.
Correct.
No, I'm not. Or whatever the hell they're called.
Yeah.
Not doing it.
To Cody's credit, he kind of tries to stay as diplomatic as possible with it, but it's still weird. Just gotta say it. It's still weird. Yeah, man. So last week, AEW Dynamite was headlined by Will Ospreay and Rey Fenix.
Yep.
I guess we should just jump right to that.
Yeah, let's just get to that.
Will Ospreay and Rey Fenix. So James, your expectations on this were out of this world.
It was sky high. I thought this was gonna be a match of the year contender. It absolutely was not.
Yeah.
It was a great match, but not a match of the year contender, no.
Yeah. So, a regular great match,
Right.
as Jeremy Donovan would say, where the 4.75 at? That's kind of what I was looking for too. Won't lie.
So, yeah.
But
I mean, we all were. It's Ray Phoenix and Will Ospreay.
They were flipping and spinning, as they were saying in the comments, and they did get clipped up a little bit. They didn't have, I think, the 9/11 moment of people feeling, seeing something and losing their fucking mind over it, as far as
right. They didn't go too crazy. In fact, they were about as ready as you possibly be. Like, the start of that match, you had Ray Phoenix putting Ospreay in work holds go throughout the commercial break.
Yeah. And
I said work holds, I mean rest holds, sorry.
It was still a good match. I probably went 4 1/4 on it myself. And I thought that with Swerve being ringside, obviously this thing got set up. Swerve had a promo with the Elite earlier in the show, kind of like laying the groundwork for Blood and Guts and being an opponent. They wanted Swerve to join the Elite, which would have put all my agendas together in more ways than one. He turned that down and threw the shoes in the crowd with Prince Nana. That shit
no. Prince Nana threw them shits in the crowd. That was fucking hilarious. He's looking at King.
Yeah, flipped him.
That man's player efficiency rating is through the fucking roof. That man is a 40 out here on 15 minutes a game.
This thing kind of broke down towards the end where the Acclaimed end up making a save for Swerve, and I was like, "Hey, man, I don't want the Acclaim anywhere near Swerve." Just saying, and the only thing they got in common is that they're black, and I don't even think that was the goal of putting these two together or anything like that.
You can't. It wouldn't even be a good job of playing on the part where their tag team history and each other, because Swerve was an absolute dick to them. It would for that to work, Swerve would have to make a save on them to make as a mea culpa for how he treated them back in the day, not this way around.
And I think this is really more linked to the Bucks isolation wise. I don't think
they're fighting so many wars on different fronts. Yeah, and enemies of enemies are now enemies of enemies are now becoming friends of an allyship against this evil cause. Yeah,
yeah, I would be shocked if they made it all the way to Blood and Guts. But moving it back to the main event, Swerve's ringside. And there's a section at the end of this match where Ospreay's on the top rope forever, milking it, looking at Swerve, basically letting him know, I'm about to do your move. And I'm going to do your move to Phoenix. And then he ends up beating Phoenix shortly thereafter. Swerve jumped the rail, infinitely disrespected.
Yep.
By this action, flat lets Will Ospreay know, hey man, you ever try that shit again? Like we weren't friends. You be dead.
Well, it escalated from that. It was started off as saying hey man,
take this shit serious.
You think you aren't taking this shit serious? You are not strong enough. You are not built like that to carry both the fight with 2 belts and that sort of thing. And then as Swerve goes to walk away, Ospreay snatches the AEW World title away from Swerve. Swerve almost has a rage stroke, and then Ospreay puts both titles on his around his shoulders and says, "Look like I can do it. Look like I'm strong enough to hold both worlds." And then Swerve gets his title back, and he says, "If we weren't friends, I'd put you in the grave."
Yeah.
I thought this was great. I will say this, as we talk about the WWEification of AEW, the sit at ringside, it wouldn't have been in the stands. It would have been on guest commentary, but to sit at ringside, do the other person's move, and then they get in the ring and they do the promo, and with the earshot of the camera, but not with a house mic. That is telling the story in the ring, in a way that's with words as opposed to showing without telling. This was telling you. And it was very WWE, especially how long it took when Ospreay was up there and how Swerve stood up there don't you dare do my move. It's all of the long build of that where it's this could have been cut in half in time as far as that moment. But like, yeah, it was very, very WWE. Not to say it was bad, but it was like, this is more in line of what you see on the other side of them getting close to each other and talking, and the house crowd can't even hear what the hell's being said. The only thing they know is like Ospreay stole the belt. Are they going to go to blows? No, they didn't. I wonder if you're in the crowd, you're kind of like, oh, it ended like that, where it just stern death glares and take the belt back and walk away.
Yeah, I think that this segment like heated things up in a way that nothing so far has done, and it's almost requesting Ospreay to get dirty with him, because Ospreay hasn't really, like, he's taken the disrespectful action of, you know, grabbing the belts and stuff like that, but he hasn't taken really any aggressive action with Swerve yet, like as far as like saying anything to him like, you know, here's who I am or here's who you are. Like, he hasn't gone that way yet. And I'm sure that's coming, but I like how they're setting this up so far. They basically start unveiling you know, more people that are in the Owen tournament. We get news of Shingo Takagi in the Owen Hart Cup. You heard it here first that, you know, the Owen Cup was going to be major this year. There's an announcement of a match between Claudio Castagnoli and Pac for Dynamite this week. It's going to be interesting to see how all these things break out. They announced it as the quarterfinals. The bracket is going to drop tomorrow. I don't know. Hopefully it's, you know, all top, you know, level people. Pac never wins, so part of that is like, all right, whatever. I think Claudio may win. We'll see which way it goes. But this thing looks like it's gonna be major. Obviously, we know Danielson's in it. Shingo, those four. So like, you know, with Pac and Claudio. So we will see, you know, where it all kind of shakes out. They had Jack Perry and Dustin Rhodes having a match. So
that was the opener in the impromptu match, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this actually, like, you know, the whole thing like kind of came when Dustin actually also came out to after the, you know, Christopher Daniels saying like, I love a good brawl, and he makes a match on the fly. There's more Christopher Daniels stuff that I don't want to see. This match was already booked on Saturday. Like, Dustin Rhodes had cut a promo on Jack Perry already, so it was like, we already knew this match was coming. Like, why are you acting like this is an impromptu match? So,
well, I mean, it was an impromptu match. Jack Perry had to wrestle in his street clothes.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck? So, like, if it was me, you've done all this work. I think this was a rather weak reintroduction of Jack Perry's like first singles match, kind of blowing it here. Dustin is bleeding minutes into the match. It was just, you know,
no. He wasn't bleeding minutes in the match. The promo comes out. There's an interruption to the promo. Like, Swerve comes out. The Elite interrupt him. There is a fight. There is a match made impromptu. The match then starts, and then by 8:14, before they even go to commercial break, Dustin is bleeding. It's not that the match, it's not that like he bled early, it's like he bled immediately.
This show starts with Swerve walking to the ring, and then the first commercial is Dustin Rhodes bleeding. He's
Right.
like, hold on, how do we get here?
Right. He's like, what the fuck? Why is he already bleeding? That's crazy.
But Mercedes Moné wrestled Zeuxis, and I don't know what the hell has happened to Zeuxis, but I thought like the last time I seen her was in the Mae Young Classic, and I did not think she was good at all.
She was awful in that. That match with Io was an atrocity.
This one was not.
Yeah, but the thing that I heard, you know, that I found out was like that was a rare thing. She's actually good, and then like, you know, she's been demasked and put the mask back on since then, and like she's been good in recent years. So I was like, okay, well, let's see. And it was fun. I didn't get a chance to watch. I was watching the finals, but I heard it was a good match. I still have to watch it. Yeah,
it was almost like Mercedes. You can do whatever move whatever Lucha Libre move you've been practicing, like you can do it with her because she's you know gonna be there to catch everything that you got, and any move you want to do, Zeus Mercedes will take because she's small, so you can like pick her up and slam her, do whatever you want. So I was really into this, and Mercedes, continues to bring something different to the company. Besides that, there was some other stuff on the show. Party match, there was Garcia getting a win. There was also another learning tree segment where Party ended up beating Jericho down. What else do we have?
So what did it set up a match?
No, they didn't necessarily set up a match, but it seems like something's going to be coming between them. So, yeah, but pretty good week on Dynamite. Don't want to go too crazy, but yeah, man, we had this match on Collision. When did it already happen? Did I miss that? Okay, it's coming up. Okay. Yeah, man. They also put the Minas. Yeah, they put her on television with that promo.
Is it a different one? We talked about this last week, didn't we? Or is it a new one?
We talked about it last week, but they aired it on television.
Oh, okay.
It's amazing.
Look stacked this week. I see what you did there, Seth Rogen.
Yeah. So
stacked, huh?
Stacked. But yeah, man. Besides that, I don't really think there's too much more that I have for this week.
Keep in mind, y'all are on the screen.
Yeah.
Like what y'all are typing is on the screen. It ain't just God is watching now. All right.
Yep, y'all are on video, and y'all want to do that, that's up to you.
It's like the thoughts and opinions of that chat does not necessarily reflect the thoughts and opinions of James Boyd and Rich Latta. Hey man,
these people in this thing saying, "Oh, this Photoshop, y'all, is AI. This AI. What we using? We made all y'all up." Yeah. Bruhaven, imagine some of the shit we said in the past on screen. I'd be canceled by now. Yeah.
That's what we trying to tell y'all to knock it the fuck off. I don't know if y'all don't get that yet, but that's like, hey, y'all might rein in a bit. This is Skosh.
Dr. Larry says, I am already canceled. Yeah, you can't recancel a bitch. So oh, man. Oh, love the chat. Yeah. Glad that y'all got to see some of them tonight on here. So even if you don't want to follow along on the comments and all that. So, yeah, maybe this is something we will incorporate, once a month or, something like that. I don't know, a couple times a month.
Yeah. Do you want to plug the merch?
Yeah. Those of you guys that are here in the chat, you guys can see, you've been looking at it all show. Actually, we sold a shirt just before we went on air. I saw an order come through. So, go ahead, get yours. Get your merch, onelifetimeworldwide.com. We got the One Nation Radio hoodies. We got sweaters. We also have shirts and hats for One Nation Radio. So, bunch of different colors, orange, navy blue, purple, black. So, we're doing the damn thing on there.
Yes. Also, that's the end of the show. I'm pretty sure, unless you got something to say, right? Anything else you want to add? All right. Yep, that's the end of the show. Thanks for listening, y'all. If you are watching from the stream, be sure to go to the podcast show notes and go to the red link circle to donate there. And listen to other shows on the network besides One Nation Radio. You have Keepin It Strong Style, All Things Elite, Imps WWE Adventure, Wrestling Art with Chris Things, Tunnel Talk, and the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast. Now, full disclosure for those that will be listening to the Social Suplex Podcast this week, and it already started and kicked off yesterday with Keepin It Strong Style. I have asked our white host of our podcast to tell us what dishes they would bring or make if they were invited to a cookout held by black people. And I would just like to point that out there. And I'm now saying on air, this was not a joke. Like, it's funny, but this is not a joke. I would like to hear what you have to offer, what you would offer hypothetically in this situation. And hopefully we can check back in on Imp. I've always been interested.
Hey, don't bring no fucking beans, bro. We ain't taking.
Chill. Let him bring what he wants to bring. Let him bring what he wants to bring. And Tunnel Talk, I'm especially interested to hear what y'all have to say. Right? Trish and Sarah, of course.
Hey, Trish, don't bring no motherfucking beans.
Chris, if Chris, I don't know if Chris responded, but if Chris hears it, I would love to hear that. And then, next week, I think we have a chance to compare notes and have an all-time segment. Cause, I think we have an all-time segment. I'll leave it at that. But I would love to hear what y'all would bring in all earnesty. I would love to hear. I hope y'all follow their requests. If not, no big deal. But I think that it would make great to review, me and Richard to review.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it makes for good synergy amongst all the shows to all have like a little ongoing bit, a little segment amongst us from time to time. So yeah, I think it should be more than just me harassing Tunnel Talk and then Tunnel Talk saying that I should be deplatformed in response to saying that I think a loser is a loser. I think it's kind of crazy.
Man,
but yeah, but he's a talented loser. That's the thing. They think I'm being me. Like, nah, his role is to go out there and lose. There are plenty of people that love they're losers.
Social Suplex Barbecue, I would definitely bring the macaroni and cheese for sure. My shit is undefeated.
But we didn't ask you to bring no dish. We asking the white folks to bring.
That's true, but they got look. There has to be a core. There has to be a core amount of actual things.
Well,
like
look.
They are adding
look. We are not asking them to bring mac and cheese.
Correct, because mac and cheese is a core item.
We'll handle it if they decide to bring mac and cheese. Okay. Well, let's see. Maybe they make good mac and cheese. It's unlikely, but maybe they do make good mac and cheese. We'll see. We will see. We'll find out this week, I guess. So yeah, that's in the show, y'all. Thanks for listening. Later.
Peace.